Hi guys, so our first card is number 40, Pachamama from the Mystical Shaman Oracle, and it says, Pachamama represents the unconditional love that the earth has for all her children, including the stones, the plants, the animals, and the humans. She is the goddess of earth, also known as Gaia, who pervades all creation in our planet. Thanks to Pachamama, our timeless soul can experience life in a biological body. The joy and pain we taste during the brief time on Earth are invitations to discover the boundless love of Pachamama. So I feel like, and they talk about that also in the invitation about, taking care of yourself and having appreciation for the life that you have. I know sometimes some of us don't have the best situations, and it's hard to be in gratitude and appreciation when you feel like you're constantly in chaos, or if your life is really traumatic. But that being said, if you're able to get out of those situations, then you have the opportunity to kind of look at your life as an opportunity to progress, right? There is, life is the gift, right? The gift to be alive and experience this. This is the gift. This is reminding me of a post that Aquarius Rising 23 had posted earlier about, death being a celebration of life. And I'm probably butchering exactly what she said, but that's kind of like what her post made me think about, was the fact that, in so many beliefs, a lot of people, and especially like if you understand like the point of shamanism, or like even in herbalism, any earth-based religion, they'll kind of tell you how we were kind of told to take our eyes and our beliefs away from the earth, is because the earth was considered bad, right? So like, look at like the devil card. They think of the devil card, everybody thinks it's evil and it's terrible because it's because it's of the earth, and that's what we're told, right? So but if you look at it, that's where the magic is. That's where the experience is. That's where you can experience all that is, and that's the moment, right? That's the moment, not looking up at the sky and waiting for something that you have to earn to enjoy. I don't know what happens to us when we're gone, and I don't know where we go, or if we just keep going. I have so many different beliefs in that, but at the same time, I also believe that how you live your life and how you interact with others and how you use your life is a celebration and an appreciation for that life. So I feel like when we get the Pachamama card, that's kind of what that means. It's like, have gratitude and appreciate, and return that appreciation by doing something good for the earth. If you feel called to do something for an animal or a plant, or just doing things in the right way, trying to not like ruin the things that so beautiful here, but at the same time also taking care of yourself, because you are a child of the earth as well. So I'm going to go down to the Herbal Astrology Oracle on the very bottom. And it is number 31 with cannabis. Upright, it means detachment, deep contemplation, freedom from pain body, and immunity. And its rulers are Saturn and Neptune. So, learning those lessons and getting grounded in your spirituality and taking from that, right? But it's, also can be kind of that balance between like the grounded, learning how to traverse and navigate through life in the here and now, but also being aware of those Neptunian transcendence type places, right? It's having that balance between that and getting the most out of that. That's what I feel like when I think of that combination of planets. So I'm just going to read a little bit from the book, and it says Saturn is said to be the lord of time and space, the lord of karma. Although often called the great malefic, Saturn is much more than what we experience in the third dimension reality. The space-time continuum is a system that encompasses third dimension reality as we know it, and said to be ruled by Saturn. Yet the transcendence of this reality is freedom from Saturn, depicted by its polarity, Neptune. When the angels of time and the space are respected, Saturn, they bless us with the freedom and ability to transcend, Neptune, the cycles of the pain body. If you feel restless, anxious, trapped in your own body, or have trouble sleeping, Cannabis is here to remind you to cultivate inner calm. Breathe deeply, go for a walk in nature, immerse yourself in meditation, take naps, creatively cultivate practices that soften the unsettled aspects of your being. Don't succumb to quick fix solutions when it comes to decompressing, as it often leads to self-neglect and disassociation. Tune deeply into the energetics of this ancient ally and learn to transcend the cycles of self-induced pain. And I think there's like a lesson there, of course, right? With cannabis, like we all know, I think this day and age, it's not like a big taboo thing or whatever. There's so much soothing properties and natural calming patterns to it, but it's also just like anything, like sugar and caffeine and whatever. If you have too much of something or you make it your whole life, you kind of can lose yourself a little bit. And that's cool for somebody that's got nothing else going on, but like, say you have a family, say you have a job, say you're trying to get somewhere other than just trying to gain that sense of that, right? But if you're trying to kind of like be in that transcendent place, make time for it. Don't mix it. Don't mix that with like, trying to achieve a goal. And I think that's kind of, saying like everything in moderation, because I know people that can do stuff and be a day-to-day whatever, but at the same time it's allowing that to be the medicine that it is. Just like those spiritual and calming natures of Neptune, it's allowing those parts to be where it is and where it's beneficial and where it highlights the benefits of those things. Not while you're driving a forklift, on a schoolyard or that type of thing. I don't know. But you know what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying. It's that balance between earth and sky and all the things in between and below, right? It's kind of like this is kind of giving me, again, with Pachamama, it's like exploring all the wonders and looking around at everything and wondering how it all coexists and works together. So then we go to our tarot. And then in my column of, who this is for or what this person or community or collective is about, I have the 9 of Pentacles and I have the Ace of Wands. This to me feels like definitely somebody who is independent, but it's also somebody who is independent in a way that, they're self-reliant on their beliefs and their groundedness. What they achieve is based on them, right? They're not looking for somebody else to validate them. They don't necessarily have to be somebody who's rich or, highly respected or whatever. This is somebody who is okay with who they are and they know where they're going, right? And then we have the Ace of Wands. So a lot of times the Ace of Wands, that can be like a spark of inspiration, but it can also be, that passionate push forward. That can also be that passionate drive. And somebody like this, whoever this is somebody who has this idea, this feeling, this movement within them, and they're confident in it. This is somebody who knows that this thing that they're doing, or this movement, or their emotion, or relationship, whatever this is, this passionate spark, right? This is something that they are confident in themselves in doing, and that it embodies their self, right? That's what I get directly from that. And so my second column is obviously, that's my, it could be what the situation is, what we need to focus on. And I don't know if you notice this, but it's 936 up there. That's interesting. I'm also thinking 999. Maybe that means something to somebody. But anyway, so my second column is my column of what we need to focus on. Whether this is something that we need to do, something we need to embody, or the situation itself. This is the focus of the reading. And we have the 3 of Pentacles, which a lot of times can be, it can be a couple things. A lot of times it can be cooperation. It can also be crafting something with others, but it can also be your masterpiece, what you're doing with your resources around you and the people around you. It can be something like that. And then we have the King of Wands down there. I feel like this is a situation where you need to be the leader in this area, or you are the leader. But this being our, what we need to focus on, I think you need to focus on how to lead either others or in this project, something like that, whatever this thing is that you're crafting. Or maybe you just need to lead others into being more collaborative, right? You need to kind of get people to see how, we need those people around us. We need our families, our influences, our friends, other people like that. We need them to kind of help us do the thing that we're trying to do. So we are independent, right? Just like the 9 of Pentacles. And with that King of Wands, he's a very independent king too, but he's very spiritual. This is somebody who knows where he is, just like the Nine of Pentacles and the Ace of Wands. This is somebody who knows where they are and where they stand in their spiritual self. And in their project is kind of going to reflect that. That's what I feel. I feel like we need to look at what we're crafting, whatever this is, and make sure that we are leading in it, whether we're leading by example, or if there's others involved, we need to be a leader in that way. Because sometimes that's how we get inspiration, right? Sometimes, like, we think we got it all good. We think that, we're the one and, we got it and we're chosen or whatever. I hate that whole concept, because I feel like we're all chosen. But it's, a lot of narcissism in that. And I hate to use that word too, because I think that word's thrown around a lot too. But it can also be kind of looking at how you got to where you were, right? Because a lot of people have supported us on our way. We might be independent, but that independent Nine of Pentacles is not, she's not up there thinking that she's the shiznit and everybody else is crap. She's independent because she's confident in herself. And a lot of times it takes other people to kind of show us that, because when we're in our mindset that, that life is crap and da-da-da-da, or sometimes we do think we're the shiznit and we really aren't, and sometimes we need to be brought down a little bit, right? So I feel like that's also part of it is you need to lead it in a way that kind of appreciates the others around you as well, because, we're all part of it, all of it. And then my third column is always kind of like, what our assets are, what our resources are, the people around us, our energy that we can kind of embody. And we have the Six of Wands. So yes, that's success. I think this is somebody who has either tasted success, or they know what makes them happy, or you're somebody who embraces the little things, right? I don't know why that came to me, but it did, but whatever. And then we also have the Nine of Cups down there. So Nine of Cups is satisfaction. That's, happiness. That's like, feeling, satisfied in what you're doing. And I think with the Six of Wands and the Nine of Cups is definitely saying whatever you're doing is bringing you happiness. You might not be at the end of the thing, but you just doing it gives you that sense of satisfaction and that you're winning, right? This is also something that, maybe other people are thinking that, this is good. They're celebrating your success. So I feel like this is definitely something that is celebrating your happiness, and that energy can get you through sometimes the tough times. It can kind of get you through the bumps on the roads, because there's always bumps on the roads. And also it can kind of push you to drive you a little bit further, to kind of be like, oh, I don't want to do this because then I'm not going to be doing this, and I feel bad even though I don't want to do it, but other people want me to do it, that type of thing. No, do what makes you happy. And that being said, I feel like I always have to say that too, like kind of clarify, like, happiness, I don't think you can be happy knowing that you're hurting somebody else. So your happiness and the thing that makes you happy should kind of guide you. And if it feels unright, like if something feels off or it causes conflict and you feel like, well, this just doesn't feel right, but I'm going to do it anyways, then you need to really look at it and think about, is this really something that makes me happy, or is this something that strokes my ego or kind of makes me, kind of able to not deal with the other things, right? And then again, everything in moderation. And I feel like that's another thing with the cannabis too. It's like reminding us that, there are things that kind of we need to have balance, and, we need to have the good things that kind of excite us and whatever, but to support those things, to support the energy, and to support those three of coins that support you get, and the whether it be foundational or, people in your life, you need to support them as well. So with the end cards pile, I have the King of Pentacles and I have the Seven of Swords. And, I know the Seven of Swords is always, sneaky, lie, cheating, stealing. It can be, but I don't ever read it that way because I don't want to. So I'm not going to. So, but I do think it can also be a warning too, because a lot of times the Nine of Cups next to the Seven of Swords can be getting what you want, but not necessarily in the way that you wanted. But it doesn't have to be a bad thing. It just might be you have to be a little bit more open and a little bit more of a risk taker. Because again, the Seven of Swords, he is a risk taker. If you think about it, he's taken those Five Swords. And Five of Swords is about taking a risk a lot of times. And then, then when you're left with the Two Swords, which is a decision. So you have to make that decision to make that risk or take that risk. But with the King of Pentacles, and this is kind of like my area of what to do next, or it's not so much an outcome, it's kind of like the next step. And I feel like, yeah, taking a risk and also being very strategic. So I feel like as the King of Pentacles, the King of Pentacles, he's one of my favorite kings. He's the king that knows how to live comfortably. He likes to live comfortably, but he's very prosperous, but it's because of skill, right? The dude's grounded and he's chill, and he knows how to give and take properly, and he also knows how to give in a way where he kind of teaches you. You know what I mean? He's like the dad who's like, okay, well, here's your allowance, but this is what I want you to do with it. And if you don't, then you have to wait till next time till I give you more. You know what I mean? He's not going to baby you, but he's going to give you what you need, but he's also going to give you a little bit of it and the tools to help you learn how to give to yourself, right? So that's what I think of when I think of the King of Pentacles, especially with this Seven of Swords. So I feel like it's being strategic in setting yourself up for whatever this is, because there's going to be things, and there's probably things like in the back of your mind that are like, oh, well, then when I come to this bump, I'll worry about it later. So I feel like it's kind of like knowing what you can do in those situations. It's really taking the initiative to where you set yourself up for success, and knowing that you have success, right? But also, like, as the king of give and take, I feel like he's also, teaching us how to be receptive, but also how to give, and allowing us to kind of like, again, accept those people that kind of got us where we are, right? Don't just be like, oh, all right, see ya, mother effers, I'm done, I'm cool and you suck, right? No, it's not like that. It's like, hey, you know what, I did really good for myself, but you know why I did really good for myself? Because of this, and I learned this, and It's like, being humble, but not like humble and like groveling. I don't know how to express that in a different way, but it's like, I think we're taught to be like, not appreciate our own successes. And I think this is appreciating our own successes, but not disappreciating the people that helped us get there, right? And then, and our last two oracles are Santa Muerte oracles. They did come out like 14 was first, and then there was 13. And I do shuffle these cards, so I don't know why I did that, but that's cool, whatever. And the first one is number 14 with Chalchiutlicue, and I probably butchered that, but she's pretty cool. She's like an Aztec rain guide, and she's known as She of the Jade Skirt, so she always wears that jade skirt. And there's like a flood story with her, like, which is crazy, because if you're like me and you love all that stuff, the whole flood story and how it's in all the different religions and beliefs, it's just, I love it. But anyway, so she is like the water rain goddess, right? And she's kind of like a lot of goddesses, especially like in Aztecs, and I think a lot of times in Hinduism too, there's a lot of like that whole, they can, they're the givers and takers of life, right? And I think it talks about the passion that women have, and well, not just women, but like the feminine passion, and that part of ourselves and the waters that kind of, they can either trickle or they can just rush. So but like, I think it's cool. So the flood story is kind of, and I'm not going to get too deep into it, it's like, it starts with like the Aztec creation method of like the 5 sons, and Chalchiutlicue, I probably said that wrong. She was like the goddess of the 4th sun, and in the 4th creation of the world, and she like retaliated against and I can't remember what it was named. It was like Talak, or I can't remember. Oh, I'm so bad at this, but I love it. It's just crazy, but I'm saying the words. But like, he mistreated her, so she released like 52 years of rain and caused a huge flood, and then like that caused like the 4th sun and the 4th creation to be destroyed, and so then she ended up building like a bridge to heaven and earth. And so those that were able to kind of cross that bridge, they survived, and the ones that were from the previous incarnation or the previous life, they were turned into fish, and that's what the people in the 5th creation ate, right? So it's kind of interesting. It's kind of like an ancient understanding of evolution, which is nuts. when you look at like all this stuff, and this is why I was always fascinated as a kid, like it all connects and it's all different ways that we tell stuff, but it's so freaking beautiful. Anyways, so that's like a pause on that. I'm not going to get deeper. But so the card says, though, Wachalchi Utlikwe, goddess of all the waters, lakes, seas, and sailors, as well as a goddess of beauty and fertility. She reminds us of how development and progress can only be possible if we view life as a benevolent river, a moving event, and not as something that's static. The flow expressed by the love card, which, if understood and allowed to run, allows Chalchi Ukwe to bring beauty and ardor instead of lightning and storms. The advice of the dead: do not fight against the flow you are in. A river cannot be tamed with force. You must surrender to its current and use its strength as if it were your own. Okay. And then we go. So I really feel like that's kind of part of this too. Like, if you look at this, we've gotten so far, this is somebody who's super independent, and but don't discredit those that have come along the way with you, who have got you there. This is, learning those lessons, in the cannabis card, and allowing yourself to have the flow and not like shutting everything out, right? Not ignoring your day-to-day life and the people in it just so you can like gain enlightenment and then, whatever goal it is. I have to remind myself sometimes, because I'll get like all caught up in this big, huge idea I have, and then like I look up and like all this stuff has happened, and I have to like feel really bad and recapture myself, right? But it's also about allowing things to flow and not having that anxiety of like, oh, is it gonna happen, because that's when you don't have fun, right? That's when you don't enjoy it, and the energy is less of like calm and allowing and surrender, and more of like anxiety, and if I don't have it, and feeling that feeling of, lack, because really that's what happens is, when we think of manifestation, it's that, it's allowing things to happen, because when you put out that energy and you do things that relate with that energy of lack and anxiety, and then you don't really take the good actions, and you really don't put out that good energy that kind of attracts that kind of thing that you're looking for, right? You don't put out good work either. So if you're in like creating something, you're not going to do that if you're like freaking out, right? And that brings me to our last one, which is number 13, Witsi Lu Poj Tili. Oh God, that's so terrible. Witsi La Poj Tili. Maybe. But he's the god of sun and war, simultaneously benevolent but strict. In fact, just as the sun can sense life on earth, its excess can burn and kill. He can be considered a sublimation form of the light card, which is number 8. Powerful and generous, but lethal if, like the little hummingbird that flies too near to it, we do not keep the right distance from it, or if we exceed in arrogance and presumptuousness. The advice of the dead: proceed calmly along the path that you have chosen, but without presumption towards the first goals you see in the light. Otherwise, the shadows you meet on your path will seem like darkened wells. And that's exactly what I was just saying. Like, I feel like this whole reading is about allowing the magic of life and earth and all the elements, because there's so much like earth and a lot of spirit energy in this reading. I think it's beautiful, especially with all that like fire and the water, you know what I mean? But there's a lot of earth in there. It's telling us to remind us to be grounded, and there's a little bit of air in there, kind of telling us to be with your wits about certain things. So I feel like it's really about reminding us that yes, you can have success. You are going to be successful, and you are on your way. You've learned so much, and you're powerful in your stance and who you are, and maintain that, but do it with integrity, because being confident and taking those risks and all that, but do it with a confidence, because when you step on the little guy, you know what I mean, in the long run, that's not going to make you feel good. And also, it doesn't make for a good community, or it doesn't make for a good habitat. Really, I think it's about having appreciation and utilizing that in the way of being respectful to yourself and others, right? Success tastes so much sweeter with integrity. So I hope this meant something for somebody today. I've been all over the place, but I don't know. I just feel like this is really good. And whoever you are, if you resonate with this, I feel like this is a good one.